What's going on, everyone? It's your boy Ethan. Hope you're having a great day. We're back out here outside Boston Billiards. It's June 18th, a pretty sunny afternoon right now, and we're gonna try to get some chips back from last video. It didn't go well for us, six-handed max. We just didn't adjust properly, super rusty playing live, and overall a terrible session. So hopefully we can bounce back today. I really have nothing to say in this intro besides that, so let's just hop right in, get into the action. I think there's a few tables running, and we're gonna see what the nightlife is like at Boston Billiards, see what the action is gonna be like. Hopefully we can run things up. Let's try to not punt this off in 5 minutes, please. We gotta make this last at least 5 minutes. So we played literally one orbit of 1-2, and they open up a brand new 1-3 game. So there's a bigger buy-in, 1-3. It's a 500 max compared to a 300 max. We're gonna hop in there. Also, if you wanna leave a like on the video and comment down below, I'm giving away one of those blue chips every single video to one random commenter each video. So hard to talk and breathe in this thing, it's terrible. But we're gonna, oh my God, we're gonna play 1-3. We're gonna try to run it up. We'll see what the action's like, and we'll have a good time. Okay, we'll see. Let's go. The very first hand that we are dealt in this 1-3 game, we're in the big blind with Queen 4 of hearts. Playing five-handed, the under the gun player opens up the action to $11. There are two callers to me, and only for $8 more. Queen 4, not great, but I guess we're gonna go with it. We make the call as well, and we're off to a flop. The flop comes King 3-3, two hearts out there. Action checks to the undergun pre-flop raiser, who c-bets $25. It folds all the way back to me, and here he's a fairly short stack, and with queen high, with the flush draw, I probably should just make a standard call here, but out of position, I wanted to just be the aggressor, and I check raise to $75. He doesn't think too long before ripping his whole stack in there, which is only a total of $146. Not the spot we're looking to be in, but here we are, hand number one. We're gonna have to punt, so we call it off, and we're off to a run out. The turn comes a 5, not a heart, and the river is a 3. So with queen high, we're probably gonna lose. He shows king jack offsuit, has a full house there on the river, and really quickly, just like last time, we punt off some money. So after that punt, we pick up ace-9 offsuit on the button, and we're playing full ring here now, and by full ring, I mean we're playing six-handed. So the under the gun player opens up the action to $11. He is a very good and very, very solid player at this table, so someone to look out for. A loose player in the middle makes the call and actions onto us. Here, I don't think I should fold ever, but I'm going to lean more towards being aggressive, because he can be opening up fairly wide, I think, even though he is under the gun. But I go with a 3-bet of $45, and we get one caller from the undergun pre-flop raisers. So we're going to a flop in position. The flop comes 9-5-7, two diamonds out there. He checks to us, flopping top. Pretty ideal flop for us if we're going to be 3-betting trash hands like this. So I go for value. I bet $50. He thinks about it and makes the call. We're off to a turn. Turn comes a 9. Once again, he checks to us, and having improved, we've basically got the nuts here. Obviously behind sets that turn into boats, or something that flopped a straight like 8-6, but regardless, we have the effective nuts here. So I size up to $125. I really don't know what his holding could be yet at this point. He could be calling with like a ton of pairs plus gut shots, pair plus straight draw, pair plus flush draw. Could be a lot of different things. So I size up to 125. He thinks about it and ends up making the call for 125. We're going to a river. The river is probably one of the better cards that we could ask for. It's another 9, so we've got a pretty good hand here with quads. And even better news, he leads into us for $100. Music to our ears here. I Hollywood and pretend to think, obviously, but with only $255 total in our stack, we have one move, and that's to jam. So I go all in, and he now goes well into the tank. And when I say the tank, he probably 5 minutes of tanking. It was a lot of tanking. For only $155 more, after about 5 minutes of tanking, give or take, I'm going to assume that he's going to be calling, right? No, unfortunately not. He makes the good lay down, and he said he had pocket tens. Nice fold to him. Like I said, he's a fairly solid player, so this was a really good fold by him for only $155 more. So he won a really big pot. It could have just been a little bit bigger, though. Nice fold. Next hand, this one, just as a forewarning, is quite a doozy. We're in early position with ace-jack offsuit, and there's one limper to us. We raise things up to $15. The small blind, 3 bets to $51. This is the same very good player that we battled it out with when we had quads. So action folds to me. Facing this larger 3-bet sizing out of position, I don't believe him. He can be doing this with a fairly wide range considering he's playing 6-handed, and he very much knows what he's doing. So I think about it, and I think I'm going to go with a very light 4-bet because I don't think folding here is in the question against this player right now. So not believing him, I go with a 4-bet to $130. Really light 4-bet, honestly. It's ace-jack. I really don't like doing this worse than ace-queen, but we're in position, and I think we can take this down. So he ends up tanking for quite some time and ends up making the call. So we're off to a flop. Do I know how to navigate this flop? Not really sure, but we're going to try to navigate. The flop comes 10-4-5 rainbow. Completely brick board for us, and it just never hits our 4-betting range, which is really an issue. So when he checks to us, it's basically like I have to c-bet sometimes because he's going to miss a large majority of the time. So I go with the sizing of $95. He thinks about it, and he only has about 350-ish from my angle behind. So he decides to make the call for $95 after thinking about it. We're off to a turn, and when I said I didn't know how to navigate the flop, I really don't know how to navigate the turns and rivers now. The turn comes the 5 of clubs, bringing in a backdoor flush draw. He checks to us, and here I have one of two options really, with about $460 in the pots. I'm either jamming or checking, and I think he certainly can have a lot of strong hands in his range, like pocket pairs. Jacks plus is certainly a holding that he can have, but I think if I jam, I actually put a lot of pressure on 7s through 9s here. So realistically, looking back, I probably should be jamming, but I just didn't have the balls to do it this time, so I decided to check it back in position to evaluate a river. The river is another 5. He thinks about it and starts counting out his chips. Looks like he has closer to $400 in front of him, and I'm starting to think that if he jams and bombs this river, then it's definitely more likely weighted towards a bluff given this action and given this board. So it's such a weird situation where ace-jack high can be good here sometimes, but I still lose to a lot of bluffs like ace-king and ace-queen. That could certainly be in his range. So he's counting up the chips. He ends up electing a sizing of $190, and I don't think I can hero call that sizing. It looks like it's weighted towards so much value. So I fold fairly quickly, and he shows us the good news of 6-7 of diamonds, so he just totally wrecked us and outplayed us there. So he made a really nice river bet sizing, so there was no way I could hero call with ace-jack high there. So nice hand to him, and yeah, we got absolutely crushed that hand. A few hours later, we've been fairly card dead, and here I have ace-10 of diamonds in the big blind, and we're playing 5-handed. There's an open to $10, and there's 2 callers to me. Ace-10 of diamonds out of position, pretty good hand for sure, considering that there are some players playing a very wide range here on this table. So I decided to 3-bet to $65, and only one player makes the call who's on the button, and he's really short with only $50 behind. So with only $50 behind, I'm basically going to have to jam any flop. I'm going to see what happens. So the flop comes deuce, 4, 5, 2 spades, and a diamond out there. So we do have 2 overs, we do have a gut shot, we do have a backdoor flush draw. We make the bet for $50, and he tosses in the chips with ace-6, and we're off to a run out.
I don't really have much.
The following hand in this video is pretty fun because we pick up aces. It's always nice to see aces, especially in live poker. They're just so pretty. So we're playing 5-handed. There's an under the gun straddle, and the player to my right limps. I raised to $25 over the limper and the straddler. The under the gun straddler makes the call, and so does the limper. So we're going to a flop 3 ways. The flop comes king, deuce, 5 rainbow, super dry, and awesome board for aces, obviously. The limper, out of position, first to act, leads out for $20. He only has about $100 max behind in his stack, and on such a dry board, it seems like he's repping the king a lot. So here, I decided to just raise on the smaller side, considering how small his stack is and how dry this flop is. I raise to $50. The under the gun player folds, and he makes the call, like I said, assuming he's got to have a king here. So we're going to a turn, which is the 9 of clubs, bringing in the backdoor flush draw. He checks to us once again, and I bet $75, which covers him basically. And he thinks about it, makes the call, and the river is a deuce. He shows king 10, and we scoop. Hand after that, we pick up ace-king offsuit on the small blind. There is a limper. The button to my right raises to $10. I am definitely 3-betting here to $40. We get a player in the big blind to my left who makes the call, and the button makes the call as well. The big blind has been playing fairly wide, and the button watches the channel, so shout out to you, Kevin. 3 ways to a flop, and the flop is not the best for us. It's 9-8-4 rainbow. Here, I'm first to act. Ace-king offsuit definitely has some showdown, and honestly, we're just not going to bluff into 2 other players, so I check, and action checks around. Turn comes the 5 of clubs, bringing in a backdoor flush draw, and once again, I check. The big blind bets $95. The button folds to us, and here, something just doesn't sit right with me. This player on the flop snap checked it. So really don't believe that he's betting this big here for something for value. Seems like he's probably has a draw. There's a ton of draws out there on this board. So I tank, and I make the call knowing he has about $250-ish behind. We're going to a river. The river is a 6. This was not one of the cards I was looking for. All of the draws got there. So once again, I check. He ships it for over $200, and I snap fold. He shows ace-10 of spades for the bluff. He got us good there. Looking back on it in hindsight, I think maybe I could jam the turn as a bluff, but that seems suicidal. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I did call because I think something was fishy. I don't know. If I'm going to call with ace-king high, a pretty large bet on the turn, maybe I should just be jamming it if I think I'm good to just maximize fold equity. I'm not entirely sure, but I couldn't call the river jam there when the board is just super connected. This next hand is a fun one. We pick up pocket jacks, and we open it up to $15 right after getting bluffed. Only one player makes the call in the small blind, and he's been playing a wide range of hands. He was the one that had jack 6 against us. So the flop comes jack 6 for rainbow. Top set on a pretty dry board, so when he checks to us, I decide to just check it back to balance. He can bluff a lot as well, and we're going to see what evaluates on the turn. The turn is a 9, and when he checks to us, I am going to have to bet something here. I throw out a bet of $25. Not really sure what I get called by, but hopefully he has a 9 or something. So he does make the call for $25, and we're off to a river. The river is the case jack, making us quads once again. Quads twice in a session is something else here. So when he checks to us, I really wanted to polarize myself and overbet the pots. But realistically, I just don't know what I'd get paid on this board here. So I chose with a smaller sizing to get value. I chose a sizing of $65, and he thinks about it. He does make the call, so we do get paid, luckily, and we show it.
Oh my God, naughty boy.
Once again? I'm still stuck. The next hand, we're playing 5-handed, and I look down at Queen 8 of hearts. The player to my right limps, and I raised to $15. This was definitely just a mix of tilt / boredom. Very much opening my opening range for some reason. So we raise the 15 with this hand. The player to my left, who's very loose, makes the call, and the limper calls as well. So going 3 ways to a flop, which comes 8, 8, 5, 2 clubs. So if you're gonna play Queen 8, you better flop trips, really. Action onto me. When it checks to me, I c-bet $30, and only the limper makes the call. We're going to a turn, which is a 10. He checks to us once again, and sitting with trips here, I think I'm just going to try to take advantage of my image. Obviously, I like to bluff a lot, so I better be sizing up and double barreling our strong hand as well. I go with a sizing of $80. He thinks about it, and he doesn't have too much left in the stack. So after some deliberation, he jams about $125 in. Obviously, I'm not going anywhere with trip 8s. So I snap call, and we're off to a river. The river is a 5. I show my hand, and we're good since we're up against 5, 6 offsuit. Thanks, man. Nice playing with you, Kevin. The next clip in sequence is pretty funny, I would say, and kind of shows the table dynamics. I turned another set with jacks there on a very, very wet board. So the villain check calls my $25 bet or something like that. And the river, I'll just show you what it is, and he jams the river.
Jack is following me. Gotcha.
You got me?
Get luck. Oh, go to Jack that hand. Oh, no, the pocket still going back.
The next hand, we pick up pocket 10s in the small blind with an under the gun straddle. There is one limper to a player on the button to my right who has been very crazy. He has been jamming $300 pre-flop. He's been raising super light with 9, 10 offsuit to like $50 or something like that. The casino closes at 1 a.m. and we're sitting at about 12:30 a.m. So with only 30 minutes left, action gets a little wild. So this specific button player raises to $35. It's a dream spot. I haven't really had too many premium hands all night, so I'm happy to pick up pocket 10s here. I decided to 3-bet to $140. It folds all the way back to him, and he's here to gamble, and he ships it for $305. Obviously, I'm going to be snap calling. I think I'm in amazing shape from most of his range. I probably could have him dominated with the higher pair, but at the very worst, I think we're flipping. So we call the $305 jam, and let's play the video.
All right, gentlemen.
I mean, a king queen.
Here we go.
Hey, king right there. I can't fold those cards. Right? I can't fold those.
The turn, the winning hand.
Can you fold those cards?
The following hand, our stack has definitely been dwindling, especially after that last hand, but good news, we pick up pocket queens, and we're playing 6-handed here. The player to my right, who had been crazy, the guy that jammed $300 with king queen, he limps, and I raise to $15, and there are 2 callers. 2 callers to the big blind, who 3-bets us to $65. He watches the channel, pretty solid player, and I don't think he's doing this light at all, especially against 3 players and against my early position open as well. I debate between calling or 4-betting, but considering 1, I'm in position, and 2, I'm looking for the same flop regardless, really. And the other players that called my $15 raise is just playing so wide. I want to get them involved as well, and like I said, I'm looking for the same flop regardless, just no ace or king. So we called the $65, and one of the limpers folds, and the small blind who called my $15 jams his whole stack in for $78 total. Unfortunately, the pot is not reopened, so we both make the call, and we're going to a flop. The flop comes ace, king, 5. Oh my goodness, could you see a worse flop? He checks to us, which is really interesting. So action goes check, check, and we're off to a turn. The turn is a 10, and he checks to us once again. I'm thinking, can we possibly get some very slim value from jacks going for a gut shot? So I decide to throw out a small bet of $80 to build some sort of a side pot. He folds, pocket queens face up since the action's over, so that's pretty funny. And we're off to a river. The river is an 8. The small blind who jammed pre shows his holdings. He has king 8 suited for 2 pair. The last hand we're going to go over is actually the very last hand that we played since the casino closes. They announced this would be the final hand for our table. We pick up Jack 10 of hearts playing four-handed, and I open to, I think, $15 pre-flop or $12, and we're going to a flop 3 ways after getting some callers. The flop comes King, Queen, 9, all clubs. Better news, the first act player who's been crazy leads out for $15. I decide to go for a raise here with our straights, charge the max for some club draws. I go with the sizing of $50. Not the best news, because the next person to act to my left, he raises us once again to $150. Folds all the way back to me, and it's a clear decision we have to make, unfortunately.
Wow, I would have called him.
Yeah, I would have called him too.
One, two, three, 350, 400, 435, 435, 438. 1, 2, 3, 4, 20, 35, 6, 7, 8, 438, man.
Thank you. Have a good night. I don't even know. That last hour was just disgusting. I don't even know what to say. We played for way too long, so it just closed. It's really unfortunate. The table was really great, and that's all I have to say. Unfortunate that the New Hampshire casinos close at 1 a.m. So that last hour, people were just going bananas. So it was a really great 6-handed game. My goodness, we really fell apart that last like 30 minutes there. That was awful. I don't know. We played for 6 hours, longer than we anticipated to. We were not supposed to play until the end, but we were in for $800. I mean, the first hour we played was pretty awful. Punted big time, but that last half hour, I'm frustrated, I'm hangry, I'm just annoyed. I wish we could play more. I didn't play more, but I was out for $438. Another 0 for 2 right now. There's not a whole lot I can say. Thank you guys so much for watching. It is so dark right now. I am gonna get home, and we'll see you in the next vlog. Wish us some better luck. Comment down below if you wanna put a chance to win a chip, but I'm exhausted. I don't know what to say. That sucked. That's it. That's all I got. Leave a like for the pain. I forgot to mention, I got quads twice. How does that happen? What kind of session was this? It was super fun. Losing money is not great, but I mean, I got quads twice. That's a sick video. I should have won more, or I should have won maybe. I don't know. This was a blast of a video to make. That's all I got. Random thought while driving. I didn't address the whole me getting quads twice. Crazy.